members of the Big Lake Police Department
display pride in the community
we are entrusted to protect,
provide service with compassion and dignity,
and exhibit the highest level of integrity
in all aspects of our lives.
I'm Chief of Police Joel Scharf.
And I'm Deputy Chief of Police Matt Hayen.
We're very proud to present you with the Big Lake Police Department Annual Report for 2019. In 2019, the Big Lake Police Department was comprised of 13 full-time sworn officers, 2 full-time administrative staff, and 1 part-time community service officer.
We start off with the Chief of Police, Joel Scharf. He has 8 years of service with the City of Big Lake. Deputy Chief of Police Matt Hayen, 4 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Sergeant Sam Olson with 18 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Sergeant Tom Kukala with 2 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Investigator Rich Berg with 22 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Officer Chris Horde with 13 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Officer Todd Siebert with 12 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Officer Sam Norland, 8 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Officer Guy Chafee, 6 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Investigator Nick Prigge with 5 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Officer Joe Kalla, 4 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Officer Tyler Sinclair, 2 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Officer Silas Reek with 1 year of service to the City of Big Lake. Police Specialist Lori Morris with 19 years of service to the City of Big Lake. Police Specialist Tina Peterson with 16 years of service to the City of Big Lake. And Community Service Officer Crystal Gassman with 11 years of service to the City of Big Lake. That is 147 years of combined service to the City of Big Lake.
We're also very fortunate in 2019 to see no departures of any of our staff and to retain all of the quality, dedicated professionals that we have within the Big Lake Police Department. This chart illustrates our calls for service with the corresponding population from the years 2012 through 2019. We continually see more demands placed upon our police officers, and you can see how our calls for service trend from approximately 7,000 calls for service in 2012 to over 16,000 calls for service in 2019. Also during that time, you can see that our population grew by almost 2,000 residents, or 20%. 2019 calls for service by hour of the day. This chart illustrates the different demands placed on different hours of the day within the Big Lake Police Department. You can see that the only true times where our calls for service somewhat decline are in the early morning hours. Other than that, our officers remain consistently busy through all hours of the day.
2019 calls for service by day of the week. Again, this is another graph that visualizes the number of calls the officers receive on each given day. As you can see, they are all very similar except for Sundays, which is a little less busy.
What are calls for service categories? In 2019, we developed a chart that expresses how our demands are dispersed over different calls for service. And these are made up of traffic-related calls for service, which would be anything that has to do with traffic, involving things such as stops, DUI arrests, and traffic crashes. Proactive policing would be the initiated activities our officers undertake to invest suspicious activity and ensure the safety of the community. High priority calls for service would be things that are demand an officer's immediate response and attention. Support activities would be the administrative types of demands placed upon the department for various needs within the community. Community policing activities would be all the activities that we undertake to build interaction and provide service to our residents outside of regular calls for service. Vulnerable persons investigations would be those that entail anything that has to do with a person who could potentially be in distress or in a position of danger. All other calls for service are typical property type crimes and disputes that take place within the community. And finally, specialty programs make up our K-9 and unmanned aerial vehicle program. You can see in this graph that traffic-related calls for service continue to place the most demands upon our officers at 44%. Traffic is also where our residents and visitors are injured or potentially killed in traffic crashes and accidents. And it's also where a lot of our criminal activity is intercepted by officers on routine traffic stops. You see our high priority calls for service make up about 7% of our workload. Vulnerable person investigations, 7%. We are strong in the community policing philosophy. About 21% of our time is spent with that. Support functions are the administrative details that our staff undertake outside of regular demands. Specialty programs, 1%, all other calls for service at 1%, and proactive policing activities at 6%. Crime rates are something that you hear often referred to in various communities. There's often wards of Minnesota's safest community and so forth. Those are built off of Part 1 and Part 2 index crimes, which are a national standard submitted to both the state and the Federal Bureau of Investigation for crime rankings. Part 1 offenses are made up of serious or violent offenses. They make up things like rape, murder, aggravated assault, a lot of the things that we don't see in the city of Big Lake. Part 2 index crimes are made up of property crimes, and those are typically theft, vandalism, public order, things like that. You can see in comparison to other communities throughout the region, we use some of our neighboring communities. We also use some that have higher crime rates, just to give you a feel for what the city of Big Lake looks like in their comparison. We're proud to be the lowest in the region as far as Part 1 and Part 2 index crimes. There's also a rating that combines the two to give you a weighted average. You can see our combined rating is at 3,516, the lowest in our region. This goes back to the slide that we had showed you before this, the amount of activities and initiatives our department undertakes to proactively police our community and undertake community engagement to bring our community in as partners with us in making sure that our rankings stay in this place. We're incredibly proud of our community, our residents, and our elected officials that support us through this.
Clearance rates, these are cases cleared by prosecution. For the city of Big Lake, we have an 81% clearance rate, and the state average for Minnesota is 51%. Big Lake Police Department summons issued from 2019 to 2011. These include traffic offenses, minor criminal offenses, and city ordinance violations. And this graph shows how many we had from 2011 all the way up to 2019. In 2011, we had 501 summons issued, and it consistently raised up to 1,193 in 2018.
Big Lake Police Department total arrests. This graph illustrates our arrest trends for all arrests and different categories, including domestic assault, driving while impaired, crimes against justice, felony narcotics, warrant arrests, and then the group of all other arrests. And when you trend across the lines, you can see how all of our arrest rates have continually trended towards the upside, which corresponds with our growing population over this time. Between 2011 and 2019, we saw close to a 15% increase in the population in the city of Big Lake. Big Lake PD trivia, we often get asked the question where a lot of the people that we deal with come from, and here is the answer. You can dazzle your friends with this at their next get-together. Impaired driving arrests, 63% are non-Big Lake residents. Felony narcotic arrests, 90% arise from individuals who do not live in our community. And finally, those who receive traffic citations from our officers, 80% are from outside of the city of Big Lake.
ATV program. The Big Lake Police Department has acquired ATVs from the Military Surplus Acquisition Program. These ATVs are supplied to us at no cost. Right now we have a 2013 Polaris RZR, and we have two 2013 850 Sportsmans. They are used for patrolling bike trails, parks, and emergency situations, and they are all equipped with emergency lighting. Canine program. In 2019, we made a change in the canine handlers for Bruno. With my added responsibilities and increasing demands, we made the decision to select a new handler for Bruno. Officer Guy Chafee was selected to become Bruno's new handler. He began training and went through the narcotics portion of training for new handlers, but Bruno was with him during that. They are certified in narcotics detection. Between Officer Chafee and myself in 2019, we conducted over 100 hours of training and had 29 deployments.
Technology. The Big Lake Police Department prides itself on being up to date with technology and ahead of the curve with a lot of items coming on the market. All of our officers are provided Axon body cameras, and we're also equipped all of our squad cars with the Axon Fleet system, which is integrated with our body cameras. All of our officers are provided night and thermal vision for their ability to see in the dark and increase their safety. All of our patrol cars are equipped with suppressed rifles should our officers ever find themselves in a situation to respond to an active threat. All of our officers are provided Guardian Angel shoulder lights to increase their safety when they're walking or present in traffic. Our department has a robust unmanned aerial vehicle program, which has become a regional resource. All of our officers are provided squad cars, which have modern lighting to increase their safety, again, while out in traffic. And the Big Lake Police Department is 100% cloud-based for all of our storage and data retention.
UAV program. The Big Lake Police Department purchased our second UAV in 2019, the Mavic 2 Enterprise. Some of the features of this UAV are it's small, compact in size, which you can fit easily into a bag, so we don't have to have a specific squad car for the UAV. They have long-lasting batteries, spotlight attached to it, speaker to be able to communicate from long distances, such as speaking to a barricaded subject that we don't want to get near, or if there's a missing person out in a field or somewhere, that we can let them know that help is on the way. Officers are able to fly the Mavic 2 Enterprise inside buildings while still using the Inspire UAV for large outdoor deployments. We currently have 4 assigned pilots. They are officers Nick Prigge, Tyler Sinclair, Silas Reek, and Chris Horde. Other officers are also trained in piloting the UAV if needed. Our UAV is utilized for vulnerable and missing person searches, critical incident management, suspect location, crime scene mapping, and a large array of other duties. In 2019, we had 33 deployments, and they ranged from domestics, missing persons, welfare checks, training, community events, fleeing, and medical situations. 2019 community engagement. In 2018, officers and Big Lake PD staff attended 264 community events. They range from the Bike Rodeo, Night to Unite, Spud Fest, Music in the Park, Chamber of Commerce Business Expo, and many, many others. You can also find us on Facebook, Nextdoor, and Twitter.
In 2019, our officers patrolled just under 180,000 miles within the city of Big Lake. Our city has 70 miles of city streets, and that doesn't include state and county roadways that pass our community. The Big Lake Police Department maintains a fleet of vehicles which are unique to the needs of our residents. In 2019, our fleet was made up of Ford Interceptor Explorers and 1 Ford Pursuit F-150 pickup. The department has the 2 Polaris Sportsmans and the ATV that Deputy Chief Hayen mentioned earlier. We maintain a robust replacement program which places new vehicles into patrol for 3 years, and then they're followed by 2 years of service with one of the investigators, the chief or deputy chief, to finish out their service life with our department. This works very well because it allows for pulling them out of primary service before major repair expenses are incurred, and also provides for a strong resale value because the vehicles are still relatively new and in good condition. Many of these vehicles are either auctioned off or assigned to City Hall or other departments for use. The Big Lake Police Department undertakes strategic planning and maintains a strong set of goals every year. For 2020, our emphasis is on all these categories. Number 1, our primary goal is our officer wellness and ensuring that the mental and physical wellness of our officers are cared for. Staffing, we continue to staff models that accommodate our rising demands while placing an emphasis on 24/7 staffing with 2 officers. We also work diligently to try to ensure our officers have time away from work to ensure, again, for their mental wellness. Critical calls for service, we continue to monitor and adapt to rising levels of unique trends in our region. Those include sex trafficking, narcotic offenses, and mental health issues. Officer safety, we implement strategies for the safest possible work environment for our officers. Community engagement, we continue to grow our interaction with our community, both in person and on the internet. Criminal activity, we continue to monitor emerging trends in crime and service and proactively address them. Partnerships, we continue to grow and foster relationships with other public safety partners to deliver the most effective services to our residents and visitors. Equipment, we continue to ensure a robust capital improvement strategy to provide the best possible equipment in a cost-effective manner for our officers. And finally, succession planning. We continue with the process of building individuals to fill key positions within the department as they become available.
This is your 2019 Big Lake Police Department. This report is dedicated to the 146 police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty in 2019.
As the Chief of Police, I want to thank you for taking the time to look at our accomplishments for the year 2019. I'm incredibly proud of all of our staff and what they have accomplished, both within the department and for the residents of the city of Big Lake. We are blessed to work with a very strong community who's engaged with us and work in partnership. We're also very blessed to have elected and public officials who support the duties and missions of the Big Lake Police Department and work as a team member in accomplishing a mutual goal for our entire community. Thank you.
Thank you.